So this talk is going to be quite short. There are two parts of it. First, I will introduce EVMC, and in the second part, we'll go back to EWASM and the software running EWASM itself. So this talk is like partly the one or modified one I gave on DevCon 3. So if you'd like to have more information about EVMC, you can find the talk somewhere on YouTube and on to extend your information about that. And so we have to quick back to EVM, the magic box that every Ethereum client has inside, and that is actually able to execute currently deployed smart contracts. So yeah, this is this like as Alex said, magic virtual machine that it's not closely matched with existing hardware, but we have many implementations of that, and clients ship with VM implementations. And it can also happen that client implementation can have multiple actually implementations of VM inside. I think Kev has some kind of modified interpreter there. You can experimentally enable, and in C++ client there is still option to choose VM called EVMJIT that tries to use LLVM to accelerate smart contract execution. Besides C++ client having a traditional interpreter. And what is actually interesting from this point of view, it's this small layer that actually defines how the rest of the client communicates with the execution engine itself. So we would like to define this API for Ethereum virtual machines and make it fully specified to be reusable in different environments. So this I come up with is called EVMC. The C comes from the C language, and the main motivation of making it happen was actually to ship the EVMJIT I mentioned before. It was back in 2014 to be available for other existing clients back then. C language was chosen mostly because it happens that this very old language actually is the one that it's quite easy to integrate to many programming languages. So this is some kind of ancient language that new programming languages still can understand, and there exist tools. You can import C libraries. That's the easiest part. And there exists tools that allows you to export C functions from other languages, but having the compatibility with C ABI. So the whole specification and design of this EVMC is just single file that still exists somewhere in the EVMJIT project. Yeah, and how actually what we have at the moment and what we like to have in the near future about that. So the C++ client, C++ client ships with two VM implementations. One of them is quite performant classic interpreter, And the second one is the experiment from 3 years ago called EVM JIT. It never was widely used in production, but I keep it updated unless at the point it's compatible with the recent hard forks. And the third implementation of EVM is actually the EWASM backend called Hera. And so it's turned out we can use the same API because API is mostly about dev, accessing Ethereum-like features, accessing state from inside the VM and other data. It's not about the specific bytecode that the VM executes. So we were able to use the same interface that we already been using in existing clients to implement the actually support for WebAssembly. And there is more. There's two I wanted to mention that a kind of prototypes or the project didn't kick off yet. So one is probably the new C++ interpreter called Zombie by Greg Colvin. And the other one I wanted to mention is some prototype of C-only interpreter as an experiment that was to find out how difficult it is to write VM from scratch, and if EVMC as an interface is good enough. So the second one was done by Alex. And going back to clients, so we have a prototype that enables EVMC compatibility in Go Ethereum. So any implementation, any VM implementation that implements EVMC will be able to be running as a VM in GEF. And something that was done a long time ago, but yet in PyEthereum was Python bindings were ready for EVMC. But because the Python client itself had some other issues, that was abundant, but it's feasible to be done. And we hope also to get more bindings for EVMC interface, maybe JavaScript, maybe Java. Yeah, I think there is more to come if there is enough interested in it. So I invite everyone interested in having this kind of two-level thinking about composing the final software solutions, yeah, to contact us or me in particular about that. And what does it mean for testing the EWASM? So if you'd like to go with the pure testnet that can run only the EWASM contracts, we're going with a C++ client with Hera VM implementing EWASM, but GEF client with EWASM is also close enough to considering as a target. But the second approach, maybe as a different testnet, is to go with hybrid mode when we can have. Also, this is one of the features of EVMC. We can have both languages, EVM and EWASM, coexisting in the same blockchain. Okay, that was all for me as this review of the software models we had. And then I will pass the mic to Jake.